Aurora's tears, twilight bloom. The Flora capital of Lavorian rose like a dream carved from moonlight. The three moon ring towers spiraled upward from the edge of the city, their pale stone threaded with glowing glass that pulsed softly against the endless sky. From their highest balconies, one could see all of Luminara, the bioluminescent jungles, the golden coastline, and the vast ocean where stars shone for eternity. Sharith stood at the base of the towers, eyes staring straight up at the imposing structure, and tail flicking nervously behind her. She had faced bandits, masters of flame, shadows in the jungle that hunted back. But this felt worse. It's just a hangout, she told herself. Not a mission, not a threat, just Zoruth. Her glowing stripes betrayed her immediately, brightening with every anxious, flirtatious thought. Zoruth was so different. She is fine around the athletic guys who hang around the beaches and jungles who always flex and smile at her. But Zoruth was different. He was so mysterious. His very presence was a sense of wisdom and a cool demeanor. Sharith snapped out of her train of thought when she spotted Zoruth. He arrived precisely on time, because, well, of course he did. He was taller than she was, his fur a deep charcoal with softly glowing indigo stripes that shimmered like constellations. His eyes lit up the moment he saw her, not flaring with intensity like a warrior's, but warming, like a lantern left on just for someone. "Hello," he said, smiling a little too wide, but still very cute. Sharith's brain stalled. "Hi." A brilliant start. Zoruth scratched the back of his neck and did a polite bow. Even with his kind gesture, Sharith could sense a little nervousness. "I'm glad you came. These stars only fall every 300 years. I'm thrilled I can show them to you. And of course, with a view like none other." She blinked, looking back up at the imposing tower. "I can't wait. I've never been so close to the towers before. They're so big." His ears perked and head tilted. "Are you all right?" Sharith huffed despite herself. "Of course, yeah, totally. It's just... Sharith opened her mouth to say it, but the words escaped his lips first. "You're afraid of heights." "No!" Sharith snapped back. "It's just... well, maybe." Sharith blushed. Did she ruin the moment? She felt her hand being guided around a comforting arm. "Hold on to me." Sharith froze. "I won't leave your side," he promised. They began the ascent together, the spiral ramps of the tower winding upward in gentle arcs. The city's sounds faded below them, replaced by the soft winds up high and the silent light of the Aurora in its distant waves. Sharith kept her gaze forward, too forward. "Say something," she scolded herself. "So," she said, cutting the silence. "You're here often?" Zoruth let a soft chuckle escape. "Yes, if I'm honest, perhaps too much," he said. "The upper observation floors are perfect for long, quiet hours when one needs to think and write." Sharith giggled softly. He stopped with a smile. "What?" Sharith froze once again. She didn't mean to laugh. It's just... "You're such a nerd," escaped her lips. Her eyes grew wide. Sharith glanced at him, her stripes flickering faintly with embarrassment. He let out a heartfelt laugh. "Well, fair enough, but don't judge too harshly. Some of us aren't as cool as the scouts out beyond the city," he said with a gentle smile. Sharith blushed and smiled a little awkwardly, her stripes glowing in a soft emerald and sapphire hues. She kept tight hold onto Zoruth's arm as they walked. She glanced up at him and accidentally made eye contact. She refocused on the steps before her, but could sense Zoruth smiling at her. The silence enveloped them, but not a cold silence. Sharith felt a genuine peace amongst the nervousness. It was nice. As they reached the upper balcony, the sun had just kissed the beaches with golden light, and the aurora deepened into layers of blue, violet, and green, rippling like breath. Below them, the ocean stretched endlessly, its surface catching fragments of radiant light. Sharith took in a breath of wonder. "Oh, it's beautiful," Zoruth finished. Sharith smiled and closed her eyes as warm air from the beaches below swept past. They sat side by side on the smooth stone ledge, their shoulders not quite touching. The air was sweet, carrying sun and starlight. Minutes passed in silence. Not awkward silence, just quiet. Then the first shooting star streaked across the sky, cutting a bright line through the ink-black night. Then another, then two more. Soon, the sky was raining divine light. Sharith's eyes widened. "This is perfect," she thought out loud. Zoruth nodded. "Better than the view from the beaches, yes?" She glanced at him and giggled. "Fine, you win. This is way better." Sharith realized she wasn't thinking of the height of the tower anymore. Being this high up with the sky raining down eternal light, and with her hands around Zoruth's arm, everything, for a moment, was fine. She laughed softly, then froze. Realizing she had been hugging his arm very tightly, she loosened her grip. "Sorry," she said. "Don't be," he said. "By the way, I like it when you laugh. It sounds unguarded." That struck something deep in her chest. She stared out at the sky again, closed her eyes, and took a breath. "I'm not very good at this," she blurted out to her surprise. Zoruth paused for a moment. "You mean being more beautiful than the stars?" "I strongly disagree." Sharith's stripes glowed very brightly. Zoruth smiled, gentle and unwavering. "You don't have to be anything else, Sharith. Not brave, not sharp. Just here." Her tail curled slowly around her ankle. She kept her eyes closed and prepared for what was about to come out of her mouth. "I like you." An eternity passed in a moment. After a quiet breath, Sharith surprisingly felt something cool in her fingers. She opened her eyes and glanced at her hands. A soft blue rose-like flower met her gaze. A twilight bloom, the kind from the beach. Her favorite. "I like you too," he said gently. She looked up at his eyes, and they reflected the beauty of the light-filled sky. "The beaches are nice," he said softly, "but still, ever more beautiful whenever you are there." Happiness couldn't describe it. This was peace. She placed her head slowly against his chest. I'm glad I came," she whispered. "As am I," he said. They sat together as the stars continued to fall. Sharith finally put her weight against him, curled her tail around herself, and watched the sky, a show 300 years in the making.